And we will see you at Coachella this year.
That's right, Gwen. We will. And we'll get you into Weekend 2 Coachella for some No Doubt later this morning. We are looking for the least influential person. It's enough influencers getting to go to Coachella for free year after year after year. And today is your day. If you have no influence at all, maybe you don't even have an Instagram, maybe you only know one person, maybe your only followers are your mom and dad, whatever the case may be, if you have no influence, Coachella could be in your future.
By the way, I forgot to tell you, one of my favorite things about seeing No Doubt last weekend was in between songs, Gwen did a snot rocket.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she snot rocketed.
Across
all
the
of
stage
us,
or into the crowd?
No, it was like she turned towards the drum set, and the camera was still on her, and she snot rocketed.
Oh, man.
And everybody kind of paused, and the girl next to me was like, "Did she just snot rocket?" I was like, "Yeah, I think she
so
did."
cool.
And I have a lot
God, you're
more.
rotten. A monster.
I have such respect.
Yeah.
Not like, "Hey, someone bring me a Kleenex." Like, no, I'm just gonna effing snot rocket and move on.
Rock and roll, baby. Let's get into your news right now, and then we will kick off a brand new hour of the show. We got Offspring tickets for you. The first thing we do in about 5 minutes is get you into the 420 hang with the Dirty Heads this Saturday, 420, top secret location. And we will get to that after this.
Grab your Adderall, because if you don't, someone else will. It's time for ADD News. Now, does anyone have any Adderall?
All right. Speaking of drugs, Ozempic has become a massive trend in the last couple of years. And there are new weight loss drugs popping up all the time. There's a new one now called Zepbound. It's already in a shortage. It also apparently helps you with sleep apnea if you have that. So there's like a double benefit. But all these weight loss drugs have their downside. And we've talked about Ozempic Finger, Ozempic Face. And now...
Ozempic smell, I thought. Weren't people developing a weird smell that were on it?
Oh, is that probably?
Yeah, I heard that too. You could like sniff it.
Yeah, they smell too.
You really smell the Ozempic.
So now there's something called the Ozempic blues that is happening where the weight loss drugs that people are taking make them totally bummed out. Because if you think about it, it affects your dopamine levels. Your dopamine is what controls your drive for food. So that's being suppressed. But it also suppresses everything else, like your desire for pleasure, your desire to be physically active, or motivation in general, your feelings of reward. All of that is gone. So when you don't really want anything, what else is there?
That sucks.
And then it makes you depressed. And then also the other piece is people think that when they lose weight, their life is going to get better. They're like, okay, if I could just get to be this number on the scale,
right,
everything will be okay. My life will be in order. Like, everything's going to change. And then when they get there and that doesn't happen, they're totally depressed. So they get the Ozempic blues.
Or they think like, oh, I'm going to just be soaking in the compliments when I finally leave and everyone realizes I lost 40 pounds. And sometimes people don't even give those compliments now because apparently they're uncouth and you don't want to say to someone like, oh, you look great, what'd you do? And then they're like, how dare you, right to HR. So as a result, I think that people think it's going to be walking down the street and constant compliments and this and that.
It's not as impressive when everyone's just taking it.
Right.
You know, if somebody really worked at it and they were at the gym every day and all this stuff or whatever, they really worked hard to lose weight, then it's like, man, you look great. But if it's just another person on Ozempic when 5 other people next to you are also on Ozempic, it's like, where's the congratulations?
It's also tough when you're like, I just lost 18 pounds. And they're like, yeah, well, Sheila lost 35 pounds.
She's been on Ozempic longer.
Wait in line.
All right, a restaurant in Italy is doing something that is getting some buzz. I want to know if you would do this. They have a new policy where they will offer people a free bottle of wine at dinner if you give up your phone. I believe you have to leave it at the front, or you have to make sure that like it's completely tucked away and that you're not looking at it throughout the meal. But they will give you a bottle of wine for this. And I was like, dude, that's a no-brainer. But also to anyone who has kids that, you know, don't really do well at dinner. And the cell phone is often the last resort of like, all right, let's just put something on, get the kid to sit down and sit still so I can eat.
That went from my last resort to my first resort pretty quick. I remember. I was like, this is the number one resort we go to. But the bottle of wine, I don't know if that's much of a give. In Italy, bottle of wines are not, you can get a bottle of wine for $1 there.
Yeah, I know, but it depends on the restaurant you go to here. Like, a free bottle of wine that could be like $70.
But a few restaurants around here tried something similar. There's a place called Jar. I think they said if you leave your phone or don't bring it in or leave it at the front when you sit down, they give you 10% off your bill or 15% off. A lot of places are trying this.
Where are these magical places?
We talked about it on this show. You reported on it.
No, I did not.
Allie, look up the restaurant. I think it's called Jar or something like that. It's like not far from here. It's like you said, there's a restaurant very close to the radio station that's doing a promotion now where if you go in and don't bring your phone, they give you 20% off your bill. And we had a whole discussion about it.
That's so interesting that I said that.
Yeah, it was at the time. And you're like, I'll never forget this chat. I was like, I know.
All right, weekend 2 of Coachella starts tomorrow. My favorite, Kid Cutie, has been added to the lineup. And
they really added Kid Cudi?
They did, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm sure you're going to get all kinds of new bonus guest appearances and things like that. But and this has kind of just happened the last 48 hours. But one of the performers from last weekend is getting a lot of backlash about something that a lot of rock artists have been doing for years. His name is A.P. Dillon, and he smashed his guitar on stage. I didn't see the set, but apparently this week he's been getting more and more, quote, outrage and discourse among his fans because apparently smashing your guitar on stage isn't cool anymore, and it's like so wasteful.
Wrong. Always cool.
I know, and
yes,
I was like,
it's always cool.
They were like, it just seemed like he was going through the motions and doing it for shock value, not because he was really like in it. Like, I'm feeling it so much that I have to smash my instruments, and I guess I can understand that, but the fact that the public is turning on destroying your instruments is like a big sign of the times.
Well, it's Earth Week, so you know.
High key, it's lame.
Yeah.
Well, you think it's lame, Johnny?
Yeah, like especially like in the musician community, it's just like lame because it's just like posery, you know.
Well,
Yeah, but you love Kurt Cobain and Nirvana, and he used to do that all the time.
Only when he did it, or Pete Townsend of The Who. It's like only cool when they do it.
So wait, you think it used to feel authentically cool, but now it just feels like people are trying to replicate what they saw from other musicians, and that it's not coming from a real place of just like being in the moment and breaking stuff?
Most definitely, because Kurt used to smash like crappy guitars. These guys smash like multi-$1,000 guitars, like $2,000-$3,000 guitars. It's not cool.
I think that if I remember
so it has
correctly,
to do with how expensive the guitar is?
Yeah, because it's cool when it's like a cheapy little like made in China guitar, like Kurt used to do.
Really?
But like not when it's like
I'd never knew
$1,200
that.
guitars or something like that.
I like it when bands break their own stuff and then realize they don't have money to replace it and have to like tape it up and use it the next night. That's cool stuff right there.
Klein Alley Show.
Klein Alley Show.
KROQ. K-Rock.
Klein Alley Show. Let's figure out what's going on in the world. Then we will get you some tickets so you can hang out on 420, top secret location, Dirty Heads, a Klein Alley Show joint venture with Hulu's High Hopes and the Dirty Heads and you. And your access to join us is happening in exactly 5 minutes right here on K-Rock. But first,
Grab your Adderall, because if you don't, someone else will. It's time for ADD News. Now, does anyone have any Adderall?
All right, we have a new public enemy number 1 in this town, and that is one Carol Baum. She is a Hollywood producer. She's also a professor at USC, and she has said some openly disparaging things about Sydney Sweeney, who happens to be one of the biggest stars ever right now and is also a producer. And here's what Carol said, and then I'll get to Sydney Sweeney's official response, which she has put out. So Carol said, I watched this unwatchable rom-com. And she's referring to that new movie that Sydney Sweeney has, Anyone But You. She
that
said,
movie like broke all sorts of records. I actually saw that movie in theaters, and I thought about paying for it again to get it at home. I really did. Our buddy Gata's in that movie.
you were more into the rom than the com, probably.
Yeah. You're pronouncing this. Yeah. For me, it was a Rom's.
Ew.
I'm not going to say it.
Ew. So she says, I watched this unwatchable movie and I said to my class, this is what she said to her class at USC, explain this girl to me. She's not pretty. She can't act. Why is she so hot?
Omar, explain it in 2 words if you could.
Or 2 grunts.
Sweet knockers. There you go. Thank you, Omar. Beautiful. I
And the class is like, should we all say sweet
didn't-
knockers at the same time?
Listen, I get it. It seems like a dated way to judge who is hot and who is not, and personality matters and all that crap. But she has been dubbed, she's the new, like, sex symbol. She's
and if you think back to, a younger, previous generation of sex symbols.
Was
like
Marilyn Monroe a good actress?
Well, that's the whole
Probably
debate,
not.
right?
I don't think so.
Same with Pamela Anderson. She wanted to be
No.
a serious actress, and everyone just treated her like she was a sex fiend, But that's what that's what happens. There's always somebody like that, and there's always going to be that question of whether or not it's their acting or their looks that is making them famous. But here's what she responded with, Sydney Sweeney. And I actually love her response. She said, how sad that a woman in the position to share her expertise and experience chooses instead to attack another woman. If that's what she's learned in her decades in the industry and feels it is appropriate to teach to her students, that is shameful. To unjustly disparage a fellow female producer speaks volumes about Miss Baum's character.
They should settle
and then
this
she
in
said,
oil.
Shake-a.
Right.
We should settle this in oil.
I agree.
We're all thinking it, right? We're all thinking it.
I just want to see Carol Baum in oil.
Yeah, it is.
That's my type.
Listen, I've said this before, but I think for some reason there is something about that Sydney Sweeney that other women get mad about. I don't know why.
She doesn't bother me at all, but Scarlett Johansson did, because I think there was a couple of years where she was in literally every movie and they were putting her in every genre, and I was like, okay, enough already.
Right.
I get it. I get that she's hot. I get that women and men all want to sleep with her, but it was annoying. And I don't feel like Sydney Sweeney is so all over the place that she's annoying about it.
But that's the interesting.
I had the biggest boob.
Calm down. Stop it. No need
Let's
to jump.
settle this like rational rentals.
All right, listen. The reality is there is that sweet spot in this town, very specifically in Hollywood, where they look to find. They've heard this said before. They try to find that woman that, like you said, every guy wants to sleep with, but women aren't threatened by.
Yeah,
And
I think a lot
that-
of women are like, oh, if I were to play for that team, I would hook up with her.
Yeah.
And
So
I think there are people with Sydney Sweeney that would hook up with her that aren't even gay.
Well, what do we know? We're just a couple uggos. I mean, our opinion shouldn't matter in this conversation, even in the least. But I'll tell you,
Well,
I like her.
I think that Carol walked in on her husband watching this quote
Is that what it is?
rom-com.
Oh.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
For sure.
and now
husband
she's like,
ordered it.
what is it with this girl?
40 times on Amazon
You
Prime.
tell me, class, Savo. All right, if you are going to the grocery store, there are a lot of things that are way overpriced now, and they have a new list now of the most expensive items that are being sold at grocery stores. What do you think are in the top 5?
Everything at Erewhon. Most things at Whole
this
Foods.
is not Erewhon. This is every grocery store everywhere.
Oh,
These are
every
items.
grocery store, the most expensive items.
And some of them we've talked about, the price hikes and stuff. And there were some things on the list I wouldn't expect.
Did eggs go up again? I feel like last time I got eggs, they were like, and they also kind of got jacked up again.
Yeah, eggs is on the list. And I had gone to Costco, and I usually get the brown eggs.
Right.
And it was like $9.50 or something for eggs. I was like, what the hell? But then it was like,
I'm going to be eggless.
That poor guy is still eggless.
So that's on
Can't
the
afford
list.
'em.
Chocolate is another one because
there's a
there was a
shortage of
shortage of
cocoa or something.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Yep. And then juice, like concentrated juice. Lettuce, which I don't know. Lettuce used to be
What,
the
lettuce?
cheapest
Really?
thing ever. Yeah. If you
It's
buy
like
a head of
50
lettuce, it
cents.
was like, yeah.
I thought a head of lettuce is like free if you buy anything else.
I think it's still affordable to people because it's lettuce, but it has, if you think about how big the price has jumped.
Right.
Like it's gone up like 30%.
It's garnish. It shouldn't be anything.
And then beef was the other one.
Oh, yeah, beef. Yeah, beef sucks.
Oh, yeah, beef is so good.
I did go to buy. Yeah, it is crazy now because if you actually want to go and get like a couple of like good, decent steaks.
Oh, yeah. My mom was here last week. She bought steak, and I never buy steak. And I saw the price. It was like $25 for just 2 cuts.
Yep.
Damn.
And I was like, I
And
need
those
to
were
cook.
just for Allie. That was Allie's. A move booth.
That was my hauling. She put it in my trough.
The world famous KROQ.
Klein Alley Show.
Klein Alley Show.
KROQ.
Get you into the Dirty Heads in about 5 minutes on 420 Saturday. Whatever your plans are, get ready to cancel them. Meet us at a top secret location for a 420 hang, a joint venture, Klein Alley Show, Hulu's High Hopes, and the Dirty Heads. But right now, your news.
Grab your Adderall. It's time for ADD News. I can already feel myself getting dumber.
All right, there are people robbing each other left and right in this town. We talked about earlier how Klein's neighbors just got their house broken into. Everyone's getting robbed.
The
And
goats is the bigger story.
the goats got robbed. And as you said, a lot of times now it's people that are pretending to be uniformed workers who are getting access to things and then robbing people blind right under their noses. But sometimes it's the actual people in uniform that are robbing us. A local police deputy has just been arrested for stealing money from somebody that she pulled over. So she pulled over this
Right,
driver.
she's a real cop.
Yes.
Huh.
And she pulled over another person for excessive window tinting. Ugh,
I've gotten that before.
yeah. Then she found out that the driver didn't have a valid license, so she decided to search the car. Then, and I assume this is police footage and that's how they found it, she finds a coin purse containing money, then takes the cash out, puts it in her pocket, throws the purse into a trash can, and then covers it up in her police report. Yeah. And now she's been caught, and she could face 6 years in prison, which is a tough way to go down.
It's tough. You talk about people in uniform. I saw a great, I don't know if this is an old video or not, it was surveillance footage. A guy dressed like a beer delivery guy, which is just a shirt with a patch on it with your name that says, has Coors on it or whatever.
Oh, so they go with like the big
walked
name.
Into a liquor store with a dolly, filled up a bunch of cases of beer, and walked right out the door. And I was thinking to myself, this man is a genius.
But it's also like, why would the Coors representative be doing that? Why would they be going in there and taking Coors out of the grocery store?
Allie, if I'm a guy and I
reverse delivery.
Reverse delivery seems like a thing. Maybe they expired. Maybe the mountains weren't as cold as they should have been.
I don't know.
Dude, I saw it and I go, that guy is a genius.
Whoa.
He walked right out and they're like, some guy just stole like 6 cases of beer.
You're right. It's clipboards and dollies.
Dollies and clipboards.
If you have a dolly, you can do anything.
The world is yours.
All right, when you were about to get married, was there a small part of you, even if you didn't act on it, that said, I should run?
Yes.
I can't do this.
Oh, yes.
I'm not doing the right thing. I got to go.
Every day I still think that.
I think a lot of people have that feeling. I definitely had it. But according to a new study, 1 in 5 people said that they got cold feet and were very, very close to making a run for it on their wedding day. Yeah, and it doesn't mean they did, but they almost did. And I feel like 1 in 5 is a pretty high average. And I was wondering, Omar, if of all the weddings that you've worked, were there any that got canceled the day of? Like, how does this ratio work out in real life?
That's interesting. No. In my DJ career, nothing has been canceled due to somebody not wanting to get married. They've all happened.
I went to one that people were there and it didn't happen.
Really?
Are you serious?
So did you still get to party and stuff?
No. It was thank you everyone for coming.
Wait, but you paid for everything. Why would you not have the party?
That's a great question. I think because in this particular case, news had broken that morning of infidelity that had taken place at the bachelorette party with one of the people. I think it was the bachelorette actually that cheated, and one of her bridesmaids, who I think was the sister of the guy she was going to marry, went and told her brother, and the whole thing got scrapped. And they made an announcement. Thank you everyone for coming. They're going to not be having this wedding today.
And then everyone just sat there awkwardly and got their coats and left.
I was like, I requested steak.
See, my friend got married, and then it's been 6 months, and they're now getting divorced.
Smart.
And I'm kind of pissed off about it because I'm like, dude,
you want your gift back?
Yeah, we gave him a bunch. We gave him a really good wedding gift. We got dresses. We got a babysitter. It's a lot to go through, and I'm kind of like, dude, you quit after 6 months.
This is why
this is BS.
That is not even trying, by the way.
I know.
6 months,
6
really?
months is all right, cool. You know what? Actually, this was a mistake. It's like, then you should have run on the day.
6 months means that they knew it going in, but they felt like they were already pot committed, so they went through with it.
Exactly, and I think some people don't run because they feel bad, and then later on they regret getting married.
But this is why, Allie, of all the dumb ideas, and I've given quite a few of them, my best idea ever is giving the wedding gift over the course of many years. So if you're going to give someone a bread maker, you don't give them the whole bread maker up front and then they keep it and get divorced in 6 months. You send them pieces of it. So if they're together for 10 years...
So 10 years later, they get a great sourdough.
They can make a loaf of bread. Wow. And how good is that going to taste, that bread?
That's show commitment for sure.
Yeah.
Not worth the wait.
They're probably going to stick it out. Be like, guys, if we just make this marriage work another 2 years...
Let's do it for the bread maker!
Let's do it for the bread. Because, Omar had one in his garage, was just collecting dust, and the guy sold this thing right under it. Yeah,
and now people can
my wife still doesn't know, by the way.
Oh, I can't wait to tell her.
Klein Alley Show. KROQ.